Wholeness, beautiful beings, welcome to my channel. My name is Rashida Silvertree, and today's topic is going to be gender specific. Sorry, not sorry, but it is. If you happen to be male or identify as male, by all means, be open, learn something. Okay, so most of you who've been, watching my videos, you know of my series called The Rise of the Matriarch. Well, today we're going to discuss why a woman's autonomy is a threat to our modern day patriarchal society. We do live in a patriarchal society. I was talking with a friend of mine, very dear to me. I've known her since oh my gosh, it'll be 18 years. 18 years. Yo. Okay, because we'll be both turning 36 this year. And we met when we were 18. So, but yeah, we were having a little discussion. And I'm like, it both dawned on us, like, we live in a patriarchal society. And I told her, I said, I didn't realize it until like I was 32. I like, really. And I'm not a feminist. I am not a feminist. If anything, you guys, I am a humanist. I am for the human being. Women, children, men, okay, humans. And guess what? People who, because I know we're going through the whole like gender identity thing, like you switch your identities, whatever, okay? All respect. But I love all, I really do have a passion for us, a care for us. But, with that, yeah, we definitely live in the patriarchal society. And what is so very interesting, because this is my personal belief, when women, I believe that, I have no evidence for this. This is a theory maybe. But society used to be, and we used to function in a matriarchal society where women ruled the world. Where political, spiritual, religions, cultural practices were guided by women, by womb men, okay? And things went downhill for us, for society, I feel, for the world, when the patriarchy raped women out of history. There, I said it. When they raped the women out of culture, when they raped the women out of religious practices, spiritual practices, when they raped the women out of politics and societal structure, and they redefined our role. They rewrote our purpose and what we're meant to do. They put us in a box. They put themselves in a box. I think patriarchal society put pressure on themselves to be men, to be masculine, to be strong, to be ruler, to be powerful, to be the leader. That's what they did. That's a theory of mine. Don't come for me. It's a theory. Because then when you start doing research, deep research, and you observe and you get into spirituality and where spirituality comes from, ritual of the spirit. Like, why would they burn witches? Why would they burn, men and women who practice herbal magic and healing? Why did the church do these things? Why? Demonize menstrual, a woman's menses, made it evil, made it disgusting and nasty. Something so natural, something that's life-giving. Right. So, why a woman's autonomy is a threat to our modern day patriarchal society. What is autonomy? It is in my opinion, it is one's relationship with the self and the self's relationship to everything else around it. What your role is. your identification, your personal belief systems separate from your religious dogma, your parental influence, right? Your societal or economic normative practices. It's your sovereign state, right? So why is that a threat? Why is a woman's autonomy a threat in modern day society? Well, under patriarchal rule, you know, the kings and the queens and the kings ruled the women. They ruled the lands, and women didn't really have, like, a woman's main purpose and her actual only way for a woman to survive for a long time, for centuries, was to be marriage material and to be able to give life to children. That was her sole purpose. Her only purpose in life was to open her legs, get pregnant, and carry the child to term, give birth to sons. Okay, and in some cultures, only sons, right? Daughters, sons, right? Because they carry the name, they carry the bloodline. Not the women though, but okay. And so, yeah, until, you know, the Western world, the development of the Western world and women's rights and several wars, a lot of bloodshed, you know, things started to change and women were like, yo, we have a role. And listen, the Western woman was, the rise of the Western woman changed everything in the patriarchal society. But guess what? This is a deeper theory of this. There's a shift taking place on the planet Earth, and this is why it fits the title of Rise of the Matriarch, because she is rising. The patriarchal society and the elite know this. They cannot hide it. They can only hinder, distract, misinform, and entertain and create a bubble, okay, of illusion to keep people from knowing this. So 50, 60, 70 years ago, 80 years ago, you know, they said, well, women, we have to allow women to vote. So they gave us the right to vote. Okay, we have to let women have a little bit more marital power to get a divorce. So they allow that. Okay, we have the power to allow women to get abortions. Okay, so they gave that to us. And so people with true power can give rights away and they can take them away too. So, you know, with all these rights women have been given throughout the past 150, 200 years or so, it was given from men to women. It was almost like it was a fake out, like they were being fake, because they have the power to take it all away. They have the power to take our rights away, our human rights away. So now, I mean, they took the right away for women to abort, and I mean, if they can do that, they can do everything else. Really and truly, they can overturn it. They get enough women who, you know, play into that same programming, they can totally take everything away from women, if they so choose. But this is what's taking place, which I love and I am full support of. If you haven't noticed, in the digital virtual reality, there is a growing sense of camaraderie among a lot of women in different circles of community, and it's now reaching a global scale. um, Women are waking up, and even non-Western women are waking up to this. There are a lot of women out there that are very still traditional. They want to stay at home, raise the kids, and allow the man to, be the breadwinner. Whoop-de-woo. Okay, that's fine. That's great. I'm in support of that too. I think that that's very lovely, when it's healthy. When it's healthy, I'm all for it. Um, but what I'm noticing is that there's a huge influx of single, educated, career-driven women who are child-free. This is threatening to the patriarchal society. And one thing about power is that power, when you obtain power for so long and you think you have everything and you want more and more of it, power is almost like a parasite. The parasite's never happy with its meal. It just wants more and more, and it eats and eats and eats. And it eats and it eats and it eats, and then it eats everything in sight, and then it ends up eating itself. And that's what's happening to the patriarchal society. We're, and I say we because I play a role, you play a role, everyone plays a role in this. We're eating ourselves out from the inside out. This is the current patriarchal society that we engage in. Eating ourselves from the inside out. The modern day woman is slowing down. Everyone's slowing down on the parenthood thing. Why? Because no one wants to raise children in poverty. Yes, there's a difference between Western poverty and non-Western poverty. I don't like the term first world, third world. I don't like that. I don't like that shit at all. So I just say Western, non-Western, but there is a shift here. Women, because women are educated and women are making money and women are choosing not to have children. You take those three things away, and that's that a woman is just a shell of herself. And men know this. I mean, I shouldn't say men, but the patriarchal society. I'm not going to label men, all men are like, no, it's when you have a society, it's multi-generational, and it's kept up by multiple generations of people. So I'm not going to condemn all men and all women, men against women and women against men. Like, I'm not doing that. I'm for humanity, but I'm calling it though. I'm calling it. And as an educated, minority, melanated woman, am I making bank? No, I will though. And the freedom of currently choosing to remain child-free, like, it's a very powerful place and time and space for women. Even if they took the abortion rights away, a woman can still choose, right? Yes, you have sexual abuse, you have sexual assault, you have rape, you have molestation, you have all kinds of things that jeopardize and compromise what I just said. I understand that. That's the dark truth. I understand that. But it says something when women say no. No. I choose education. I choose to invest in my education. I choose to invest in my business. I choose to invest in my community in different ways other than childhood or child rearing. How about investing in children that are already in the community, parentless children, foster care children, children who are orphaned. They exist. They're there by the hundreds of thousands. They're very real in the Western and non-Western worlds. Our autonomy as womb men is crucial, it's critical, and it must be protected at all costs. Because in a patriarchal society's mind, an uneducated, impoverished woman is very easy to control. I see it within my own Black community, African American community. You keep, a Black woman uneducated and unable to financially sustain herself. She's very controllable. That's why I am pursuing and switching back to my career in education, because education, it boggles my mind in other patriarchal societies that are even more cutthroat and deadly, can take a woman's right, like she can't drive a car. She can't go past the 7th grade. I don't look down on motherhood. I don't look down on, autonomy and motherhood. Oh my gosh. That must be protected too. A child must see their mother doing different things. There is a season, and there are multiple different seasons in motherhood, I think. The closest a child will ever be to the mother is from infancy all the way to probably when the kid is 6 or 7, and then the child develops independent behaviors. They can toilet themselves, then around 12 or 13, they can make their own meals. It becomes more and more less physical dependence and more emotional, spiritual, psychological support. Like motherhood is a very involved thing, but a child must see what, like like a mother outside the house. I just really feel that. I was raised that way. My mother wasn't. My mom, even though she said was from time to time, she was like, "Oh, it'd be nice to just stay at home and not work and be a housewife." No. My mother was never built for that. Ever. I'm not saying she didn't cook. I'm not saying she did everything. She paid the bills. She put a roof over our head. She worked multiple jobs. She took in children. She literally took in family, right? But she took in 2 extra kids. Drove us everywhere. Was there a lot of emotional and spiritual and emotional support? Not very much. Not as much as I think she wanted, because she was wearing so many different hats. But I saw she was an artist. She was creative. She involved herself with kids that weren't her own, and they were part of the community. I saw this from 6, 7, 8 years old, very young, seeing my mom in multiple different arenas. So it's like when they block women in, right? They block women in and they mute her autonomy. That is the death of a woman's spirit. And I have seen it. And it's really, it's something, because now in modern day, it's like the power for a woman to choose to invest in her education and invest in her finances in a patriarchal society is threatening to men. It is threatening. You can't control it, even if she's not bringing in money. If a woman knows, she knows. If she's educated, you can't control her. Mm-mm. You can't control her. You can't. You can't control her mind. That's why a lot of older dudes will go for very younger women, because younger women can be ignorant of things, right? But I made this video because it's super important. My mom's autonomy was on fleek when I was growing up. And she struggled. And in some areas she was successful. That's life. But I just seen she exposed to so much, to so many different things, good and bad. But she exposed, my mom was so well-rounded as a person. I remember she was gonna take us to China. Yo, she was gonna take us to China in the early 90s until my grandfather fell ill and she didn't go. I don't know if it was like part of a Christian, that's funny, a Christian, part of a churchy thing, but she was literally gonna go to China and she was gonna take us with her. So my mom's always been an adventurous. She's always been open to just living life very fully. And my grandmother's more of a traditionalist. She was definitely a trad wife, married to the same man for over 40 years, had 7 children by the same man, but she was also a career woman. Worked multiple jobs, raised multiple children. So in my bloodline, women, the autonomy in us is very strong in my family. Very strong. There was no, I can't think of anyone staying at home. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing wrong with that. But they just, even if my mom were to have a opportunity, my own mother, to stay at home and a husband be like, yo, I don't worry about anything. I'm paying for everything. Like, you stay at home, go to a spa, go do this, go do that, run the house, raise the kids, I'm out. My mom would not, even with the opportunity, I don't think she would have it in her to just stay put. There's just no way. My mom's a garden, she would garden. Oh my gosh, she just did everything. And it's just so I just, and it wasn't, and yes, she had help. Oh, for sure. I'm not saying my mom was did everything on her own. No. She definitely had the help of my grandparents and babysitters and all kinds of stuff, but so autonomy as a woman is super important to me. And women, you must be very mindful and very careful and heartful of who you choose to be your mate, if you so choose to not be single anymore. Because this man must be in support of your autonomy, and you must be in support of his. There's a lot of women out there that are like, I want my career, and I want my own money, and I want my own this, boop, de boop, boop. But he's got to be a provider. He's got to provide me with everything. Sis, miss, stop. Hold on. Because are you not forcing him into being a certain role and forcing a patriarchal system on him? Men are the providers. Are they really? I'm sorry, patriarchy did it to themselves. They sure did. They did it to themselves. No man should have, and they call it what, red pill or whatever. Nah. Don't be upset with single women who are child free, who are independent and they're some self-employed or highly educated, and they can support themselves and they're living their life and they enjoy it. Don't come for women like that. Mm-mm. And I, a lover of children, child free, but I child rear in a specific way, and that's through education. There's so many children out here that don't have anyone. They don't have anyone. No one's looking out for them. And you're coming for me? You need to have a kid. Where's your kid at? You don't want to have kid? And you darn well know that human trafficking is at an all-time high? Because ain't nobody caring for these kids that just pop up missing? Yeah. I haven't seen everything in my life, but I've seen much, especially with children. I've seen much. They are our future. They will be the seekers and the knowers of our future. We must invest in them, regardless if they are genetically, biologically tied to us. They are our future humanity. And we as women must teach them the power of autonomy and how important it is to be a sovereign being in a marriage, in a partnership, in society, even as a single person. Again, I must stress before I end this video, I don't label myself as a feminist. Human rights are human rights. Human rights should be genderless, in my personal opinion. But because society is based off of a patriarchal society, meaning it's predominantly run by women, and the women that they allow to run the patriarchal society must fit the patriarchal ideology, belief system, paradigm. They must be, the women who they give power to in the patriarchal society must fit their rules, must fit their story, must fit their way to uphold. Because if it was run by all men, that wouldn't go. So in order, they allow infiltration of, okay, let's sprinkle a little female, some women over here, some women over there, little women over here, we'll make her CEO, okay, we'll make her a political leader, okay, we'll let her in the Senate, okay, all right, we'll let her run this organization. They do that to keep a balance, if you will. All the while, you have countries, nations saying you can't drive, you can't write, you can't go to school, you can't abort that child, even though you're raped or abused. What? Like I mentioned before, Rome, ancient Rome, patriarchal society is based off of ancient Greece, ancient Rome, even ancient Sumeria. Okay? They all fell because they're a parasite to themselves. They ate everything until they, ate themselves. And then they were no more. So you base a whole system off that, Western society? You base a whole system off of ancient Rome? Okay. Whatever. His story will keep repeating itself, I guess. When they raped the women out of his story. They raped the women out of the story and made it his story. And then they said, okay, women, will let you in a little bit, right? That was the fall of humanity when they took us out. I'm sorry. Say what you will. Nah, in the Bible it said that. Yeah, okay. Fine. Guess what? The Bible was written by man. Most religious doctrine was written by men. So that's there. You get a male perspective of God. Even God is a man. Come on, guys. Come on. I am so grateful to be a woman in this time. You have no idea. Very grateful. Has it been easy being a woman? No. It ain't easy being a man either in this patriarchal society. It kind of sucks for everyone, but it's a beautiful seeing the human evolution evolve through their suffering. We induce a lot of self-suffering as a species. I mean, for this to be so long, but I just thought I just needed to say it. Protect your autonomy, women, if you're in relationships with men or in relationships that have a lot of masculine energy per se. Okay? Because you have women and women, and sometimes they imitate the male role, female role, right? Sometimes they do. I'm not saying all, but sometimes they do. The same thing with male and male. Someone's imitating female and male. You see how strong and powerful that paradigm is? It even shows up in same-sex relationships. So, like, there's definitely a time frame for the patriarchal society. There is an ending, a middle, beginning, a middle, and then there will be an ending. There's no way around it. But with this, know this, my dear women out there and men who are watching this, protect autonomy. Men and women should, this is very important. This is part of sovereignty. And it is a threat. We're threatening to the patriarchal society. That's why they flipped that abortion bill or whatever. They flipped it because they're noticing, And no, I'm not going to state if I'm pro or anti. Nope, that's not that kind. This is not that type of channel. But this is very important to realize and acknowledge and show appreciation for my role as a woman, a being having a female experience. All of the real, what's the word I'm trying to look for? Privilege I have. The ability to get my education, the ability to work on my own, the ability to have a place, an apartment in my name. Women in the U.S. weren't even allowed to rent their own apartment. They had to get their own credit card. In order to get a credit card, they had to go to their dad. They had to go to get permission. And I think also to get their own apartment, they would have to go to their father first. This is back in 1970 something. When women awaken to their sovereignty and they upkeep their autonomy, this breaks men free from the limitations of a patriarchal society. When women do better, men are forced to do better too. When women say, hey, you don't have to respect me. You don't have to treat me well. I'm just gonna leave you behind. Almost like, I'm just going to leave you behind. Right? And that's what's happening. Excuse me. Women are leaving men behind. They just are. We just are. I got a tickle in my throat. And the ones that are awakening to women who are moving forward and who are evolving, those men are running right after us. They're not looking back either. But women, we're on the move. We're evolving. All right, I got a tickle in my throat. I gotta go. See ya.